Check 1 2. All right, there we go.
Hello.
You guys should be able to hear us now.
Hello.
Please let us know how the audio is coming through.
Check.
If Brian's low, if I'm low, just let us know. This is new for all of us involved. All right, so we got Restream up. We got everything. We are pretty much good. We're good to go, I think.
Cool.
All right, if you guys are in there, definitely say hi. Definitely let us know that you can hear us. Again, this is all new. Trying the live stream edition of a podcast, get some interaction. It should be an overall quicker one. We're just going to touch a little bit on Gen Con, help you guys debrief of all the feelings that you have about our new overlords of the Ewoks. But yeah, so we're going to get into it. In case anybody didn't know or didn't see, although I'm sure that you did, the Hyperloops are streaming with commentary. They have Jacqueline Ashton from them helped set up a stream table and donate his laptop to that. You know, he's getting it back, but he's letting them use the laptop for the stream. So big shout out to them. And then he worked a lot with Reflex and Mike Gem to set that up. And so
yeah, they had to unplug the Keyforge vending machine.
Yeah, so they get there this morning and FFG's like, "Oh, you need power?" And they're like, "Yeah." So that was
we need that.
That was a lot of.
But we want to use our Keyforge vending machine.
Yeah, then they had a Keyforge vending machine that they. Oh well. But either way, they got it up. Artificery did not, so that's a shame. But I think they should be good for tomorrow. So there should be 2 stream tomorrow. But we were at. I think we peaked at like 320. Yeah. I think we had 300 something. No, I forget what Mike even said. But it was like a crazy amount of unique viewers, probably the highest that Destiny has ever had for any event ever.
Game's dead.
I don't know what Worlds was. I know ChanceCube did a stream. I don't know how many viewers they got.
I just looked at the Discard to Reroll like on YouTube has a lot of views, but that's a year ago, and they accumulate. I don't know what the live. I don't think I watched Worlds last year. I was teaching, so I probably shouldn't have watched Worlds last year.
Yeah, I don't remember. But either way, so Gen Con did take a dip in attendance, though. I think last year was around like 250 something. This year, 146 was the number of attendees. So it was still a really good field. The players were there, so obviously made you more likely to face the good players than avoid them. There was a lot of representation. We were only able to send 2 of our team. Although we probably averaged 2 people per.
Well, with Shane, I mean, Shane just doesn't want to go. Tommy has responsibilities. Eldest only gets to play once in a blue moon. Lucky for Eldest, he did get to go.
Yeah. Well, he usually makes the big events, not so much regionals. Mm-hmm. So like, he was at Worlds last year and Gen Con last year. I don't think he did Nova.
No, he didn't do Nova.
But we sent 2 people for that. Artificery pretty much sent their whole team. Hyperloop sent their whole team. ABG sent 3 of them, supposed to be 4, but Kyle got caught up. His plane got canceled in New Jersey, so he was not able to go. So that's a
shame.
Yeah, because you're missing like this whole thing. He like didn't want to take off that much time for work,
right?
And it's like, well, maybe next year he does take off like the whole week and drive out with, with his brother and Cody and Paul. But anyways, so there was a good representation of all the teams, and then of course Destiny Council I think was there as well. And it was actually ended up pretty diverse. If anybody remembers Gen Con last year, it was millionaires galore. And I think all 7 of the Hyperloops made Top Cut. I think Joe was on. I think it was the same breakdown last year where 5 of them were on the team deck. Joe was on something that he thought was super broken, and then Cuenca was on whatever the heck Cuenca is going to play. So last year was the 5 of them on Millionaires, and Joe was on Drive-By Shooting, Yoda, Ezra, Rookie Pilot, and that was when Cuenca made Sad super famous. And then this year, the 5 of them were on Ewoks with AR and a Hoth Trooper. Joe was on basically the new and improved Drive-By Shooting of droids, and Cuenca was still on Afra. So interesting how that worked out. But yeah, we'll get in the Top Cut a little bit. But before we go in, there were like a few misplays on stream and things that happened that I don't think is valuable for our time in talking about this. Like there was, somebody accidentally removed a die after activating a character, which set up a play of Forsaken, and I mean, he got warning. They took care of it, so I think it's irrelevant for anybody to keep on talking about it. But the points that I do want to make is about there were 2 players that were DQ'd at the event. Brian, the first one, right?
Someone brought the wontons to the Ewok deck.
Yeah, so somebody put Wanton Destruction in an Ewok deck, which is a great card. Yeah. I see why they would want to do it for Ewoks. They're never going to get hit by it. But again, that's a villain card. You would need to run Marauder, and that sounds really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he got DQ'd for that. And another one was, I assume, a Raylo player tried to play Guard. And Guard is
I miss
Awakenings, I think.
Guard's a great card.
It might be Spirit. I don't remember. Either way, he tried to play that, and he said he didn't know what format it was.
That is infinite, my man.
He's like, I don't know if it's infinite or standard or what it is. Tomorrow's Trilogy. So he got DQ'd for that. So we actually did have 2 DQs, which is great. In my opinion, that this is the second highest tournament, and at this point, they should just be DQ'd. We've had issues in the past with FFG not wanting to DQ people for certain things or any issues that they have. Even at Nova last year, there were people who forgot to write. Certain people, very specific people, who forgot to put their battlefield on their thing.
I don't know here.
But it's good to see them kind of cracking down on that, and OP seem to do.
It's nice to not need to call over a judge to watch games.
Yeah, it was tense though. Like on the floor rules with the whole issue of conceding and like collusion and things like that, and how they're defining it now.
No collusion.
We actually didn't have any issues with that, despite the judges looking out for that a little bit. Ultimately,
well, it's good. I mean, they should. I mean, it's something that they should be doing.
Well, the issue is that they define collusion. Like they say, scooping is fine, but you can't talk about like your records. Like even just asking.
I feel like that's like a nice icebreaker, especially for people who are as awkward as me. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, how's your day going? Like, how did you end up today?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I think it's an easy assumption to say, okay, I'm sitting down across from somebody. I'm 2-1. They're probably 2-1.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why that's a huge deal.
Well,
I'm sure there's a reason. But.
I think this is probably less relevant because it was an X and 2.
Okay.
Cut down the line, but something like a GQ. If both of you are 5-0 and you and I sit down, and you have a world seat and I don't, I could be like, hey, look, I'll give you the tickets, but can you scoop to me, and then I get the world seat, but you get the prizes. Right. And that's not, even in their rules, like that's not collusion. It's only like if I'm like, hey, can I give you $50 to scoop? Like only if there's a thing like that. So then it's so weird that they don't define that as.
That's a really gray area, I feel like.
I mean, I think you should be able to. I think it should be able to be like, hey, do you have at least ask the question, hey, do you have a world seat?
I think world seats should just trickle down. Like, I don't know why that's a thing in the first place. Like, why can't, so if I'm not getting a second world seat, what's the difference? I mean, give them the win or play it out. And if you're the better player, with the better deck, whatever, you're the better pilot that day, they should get the, if you already have one, why not trickle down? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the biggest one's GQ. So if it ends up trickling down, that changes a lot, which it should. So, JTS or JT Strick asked, "What'd you think of the Surly tokens?" I thought they were great.
Ones?
Yeah, I thought they were great for the stream.
They're fantastic because you can really see what's going on. It's like I use the Team Covenant tokens on the streams we do here, and like they're visible. I mean, from what I can assume, you can see them.
Yeah.
But like those, there is no question about it. Like 5, it's massive. It's in your face. Like you can read it.
My favorite was like at one point somebody got like 8 resources, like it was droids or something, and just like
a whole
third of their mat is like resource tokens. But I thought they were great. I actually ended up ordering 2
Mhm.
sets and an extra set of resource tokens for our streams. So when we do our weekly Destiny streams, and then also when we go to regionals and stream, I'll have those available for the players at that table. So that way, because sometimes in our controlled environment in a basement, we can play stuff like Team Covenant where it's more popping. But when you go to
Sure.
events, somebody might only have those regional clear ones, and it's like I can't see that.
Right. Yeah, they're hard to even see. Like we were playing the other day, and I was kind of borrowing Jack's tokens, and like even the clear ones in the box, like I mean I'm just
Yeah.
stupid, but I couldn't see those either. Even from like just reaching in the box and finding them, they're so much easier to find than like I like them a lot.
Yeah, I'll probably need a separate carrying case though for those tokens.
Massive.
They're huge.
Like
So-
my like 4 or 5 power tokens from the power action tokens from the seasonal kit.
Yeah.
Like they're massive. Like it almost takes up
bigger than
most
that.
of my. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those take up almost half of the case that I use to carry
Yeah.
my tokens in.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so those were awesome. Good to see them. Well done
Mhm.
to Mike for getting that arranged, and Surly Good for doing that. So if you are interested in that, you can go to surlydesigns.com. They're on Etsy also if you want to look them up, and they sell stuff for I think every FFG Star Wars game. Definitely do X-Wing, and then now do Destiny. They did it before, but these are large ones.
so much cool stuff on Etsy.
Yeah, and if you go to checkout, if you enter Loops LOOPS, you'll get 15% off in order, and shipping is free over $35 within the U.S.
How much does this cost?
$32 for a set.
Okay, so
Yeah.
go and buy something else.
Well,
With-
yeah,
with
I
them,
mean,
yeah, I mean,
like
why not?
you could probably do that and then buy a set of 6 more resource tokens, because especially in a droid world, you can go past 6 resources.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I don't know if I'd recommend people to just like buy them to play with. You probably if you're not
At
streaming.
like a tournament, I don't know. I think if you drop those in a tournament, they're gonna be like,
What's that?
could you like move them? Because I think even Tommy was like, I'm not gonna be able to read what's on the card or see what the card is. I think he was just joking, but like,
Yeah.
even so, they're
Well, you should see what the character is before you put.
right.
The
You should be
damage
able to
on,
know.
Yeah.
What hopefully, I mean, some people
Yeah.
some people don't.
And they are kind of like see-through-ish. They're kind of clear-ish. They're like
Yeah.
acrylic. So, cool. Yeah, we like them. We'll have them. I know a bunch of other people ordered them as well. So again, you can go to check them out on Etsy. I think that's what we just wanted to do for the intro. 146 had different teams, but there's a few people who actually compiled the data on the teams, or not the teams, the actual list, the character list. So I'm gonna throw that up, and we're gonna look at the percentages here and see if that surprises anybody. So shout out to Bowie. He posted this in the Facebook group, and it said of the 146 decks, this is the breakdown. 60% of the decks have plots, and Theed makes up 34% of all battlefields. So Theed is obviously still really good. Now just imagine how insane it was before the nerf.
Yeah.
But so you got 15.1 are diceless. So, I mean, Ewoks are counting as diceless, even though they technically do have 1 die, but they're obviously counting them as that. That doesn't mean that's all Ewoks. There could be, like,
Hoth troopers.
yeah,
zombies,
Hoth Trooper, Plo Deck, or,
maybe zombies, younglings.
yeah, something. So 15% are diceless. 6.8% is Raylo. To give you an idea, 6.8 is 10. 10 Raylo decks, to give you an idea of like the coverage of stuff. 25.3 is droids, and that's all like combinations of them. So the Faithful Companion with Satine, the ones with Han. There's an armored reinforcement version. There's a built to last version. There's droids that aren't even. I mean, yeah, built to last with Chopper, but then there's some that aren't even like running, and they're just. Well, no, I guess they would. It'd be 11-11. No, the
No.
5 die is 30 points, so there's no plot in there either.
Wow.
12.3% is Afra. 2.7 is Mill. Surprised that anybody even brought Mill.
Yeah.
6.2 was Jabba. I don't know if they were actually Jabba droids.
Java like messenger and
It's the same lineup as Afra,
Yeah.
which I think they're saying, but I don't really know. Most of them were playing Delve with larger things rather than the typical droids that you would think of.
yeah.
4.1 is
That's a lot of
Vader.
Surprise! I'm kind of surprised by that.
What's that? 4.8
4.1
is Beckett.
Yeah.
and then
4.1.
22.6 is other. Yeah, Vader had a bad showing. He had 1 game on stream, but our boy Eldis was able to take him down. Afra, I think, was proven to be countered almost. Like, I don't think Afra has a lot of bad matchups, but Ewoks aren't great.
Mhm. That was on stream.
Yeah, and I
That
mean,
was Cody and Mike Gem.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And like droids aren't. It's not like the easiest. Like it's fine. But like Ewoks are a tough matchup, and then you had the entire Hyperloops like on that. So the top tables were swarming with Ewoks, so it definitely made
Yub Nub.
them harder. Like I know ABG, all three of them ran it, but only Cody made Top Cut. I don't remember. I think he finished 6-2.
That's awesome.
And then got up on there. So Afro was definitely struggling this. I mean, obviously, all these characters spreading out indirect. And if you know what you're doing, you're going to play around active cruelty. If you're the Ewoks, right, you're not just going to do 1-1-1 on your characters. You're going to put like 2 on Chirpa and 1 on the Hoth Trooper, and then slowly pass it down your Ewoks, because if you spread it all out, then they can do active cruelty, pay 1 to do like 6 damage. And then if they kill anybody, then they're discarding cards. So yeah. That's interesting. But the Ewok version that made this really good. Actually, we'll even save that for a little bit later. But yeah, so that popped up. We'll talk about when they got into Top Cut. But yeah, the stream was really good. Giacomo and Ashton did a great job of talking through it, play by play. It was enjoyable to listen to. They did a good job. And I'm just trying to think, like some of the stream games, like the first one was Scott versus Luke Magnuson.
Yeah. And
Luke was on the Han 3PO R2 Faithful. Yeah, he had Faithful. Because he was not 5 die. He did, 12 points for Han, 8 for R2, 8 for 3PO, and then Faithful. So that was rough. He had like a hybrid, probably leaning more towards upgrades. Like he played the A300 or whatever it's called. Played Rex's Blaster as well. So obviously that with like an impulsive, or not impulsive, instigate or Ewok ambush. Something like that. Yeah. He's action cheating out damage, and that wasn't something Scott could really deal with. Or even just rolling in 6 dice, it's really not something Reylo can deal with, right? He's rolling out R2 with 2 upgrades and Han with 1 upgrade, and that's 6 dice right there. So
I love R2.
Yeah.
He's so versatile.
Yeah, he
could be anything.
Him with Ewok ambush is just absurd.
Mm-hmm.
And then I added 3PO to the mix. Things can get out of hand.
Real fast.
Second game was Eldis versus Lake from Your Destiny, and he was on Vader Battle Droid Retribution, while Eldis was on Reylo as well. And a lot of stuff went right for Eldis that game. He got a steadfast, like round 1 ended, there was 6 damage on Vader and 0 on Reylo. Like Lake Fighting Pit got hit for 1 and Vader rolled blank. So that's the epitome of how his round went. But Eldis played it well. Rey goes really well in the Vader because she's blanking his dice. Mm-hmm. And he like got an Admiral off, but he had like 1 health left at that point. So it was kind of over by then. Round 3, I don't even, I'm trying to remember all the stream games.
I didn't see everything. I only caught bits and pieces.
Round 3 might have been Reylo, Grandpa Jake on Reylo versus Drew on 3-die Afra. And Reylo took that game. I think Reylo does... that was the other match I was trying to think of really, into Afra. Reylo and Ewoks are not something you want to see. And Reylo, you figure, would be... I mean, I thought there was going to be more Reylo. 6.8 surprises me.
I mean, I think that's a decent showing, though. I mean, I think Droids is where everyone wants to be right now. I think it was between Droids and Afra. I think that everyone was kind of like buzzing about. I mean, Droids you can slot at anything, but they're so strong. Yeah.
But you figure, like, Afra had almost double the showing.
Yeah.
Of that, which surprised me, but I'm sure that's just picking points. Game 4 before the break, I don't remember. I know we eventually, like you mentioned, we saw Cody.
Cody was like game 5, I think.
Yeah, he even got like what he needed to win that game, which was a BT and 000 opener, and still it was very much in Mike's favor. Because the thing that, like they're AR, so they're pulling the pod racer to do Across the Galaxy to switch to Arena of Death. So it's like normally when you kill Ewoks, their damage slows down, but now it doesn't because they can claim for 3 indirect, which is big. And actually, we saw
it's a sweet planetary,
basically
planetary uprising from.
You saw Reflex round 6 or 7 play against John Magnuson, and he had target acquired on Chopper. Chopper had 3 health left. Reflex had the first action. He just claimed and killed Chopper because Chopper had all the upgrades. So then it was just like R2 and 3PO, and he had just 2 resources. So then he played Ezra's. But like, Reflex understood that if Chopper just died there, then his damage output was capped at like 5. Which I think Reflex was very much fine with that happening because none of his characters would have died. The only one he could kill would have been an Ewok who had diplomatic protection on there.
Right.
So it was like just hilarious to see Reflex just claim and just like, Chopper's dead. That's fine. And then he won on a claim as well, too.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So that proved up super well. Peter asks, how
Hey,
did
Pete.
our boys do?
Scott, what? Two?
Scott 2-3
3
drops.
drops.
Eldest finished 5-3. I think.
He was 33.
Yeah, I don't know where John finished. He was 3-1 at one point, and then he dropped to 3-2. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened after that. Yeah, I don't know. Tommy texted me. I thought he was going to say he's hopping on, but
That'd
he's
be
not.
great. I'll gladly hand over the headset to someone more important. I'm just a filler.
So this was the main bracket of that. Overall, the Swiss seemed pretty diverse. There was lots of droids, but I think
This is
And
about
I'll
where I
just-
expected it to be.
I'll just bring up the top cut. We'll go ahead and look over the top cut because then that can help us give an overall thoughts on things. So you're not gonna see our faces anymore, which I'm sure you're happy about.
God.
So here you go. How it's worked is that all the XN2s made it into day 2, so that means there's some play-ins. I wish they would have just done top 32 or maybe one less round because then there would have been an even break in like 32 people getting into day 2. But they did not. They didn't do that. They still did the full 8 rounds, and I believe there are 7 droid deck or 7 faithful decks, I believe, that are in here. Which I think a lot of people were worried about droids just dominating. But I think they're about 30% of the cut, and they were about 30% of the field.
Yeah.
So, like as large portion of they are, to me, it kind of makes sense simply because they were that large.
Yeah, they're gonna get matched up too.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm counting 6, I think, droids. Is Brad Miller. He's on 1. So 7 droids with faithful companions, and then there's different ones in there. But it's just interesting because, like, I know Dice Commandos did a video this week about how broken droids are with faithful companions and the need for a nerf. I'm not sure I'm there yet, but we do have 7 of them, faithful companions, within the top cut. But there are a few other ones like the Luke Magnuson did make a cut with Han 4, and we also see John Magnuson down there at number 10 with the E-Chopper ER2 3PO. Another interesting one is the Jabba deck did make it. Nick Obi piloting that, as well as Tyler Fultz, both made it into that. And I both think they could actually have a decent matchup into what they're going. I haven't really tested that deck in quite some time, so it's hard for me to give an exact opinion of it. But one of the interesting matchups right out of the gate for me is game number 7, which is Mike Jem versus Cody Williams.
That rematch.
Which is a rematch, of the stream. So it'll certainly be interesting how that goes up. And, I still think I have Mike. Cody got, like, the great start that he would want last game, and still was very much behind.
Yeah, that top bracket really interests me. The 9 and 7, and then, I don't know. I think Andrew Cox is great, too.
Yeah. Andrew Rothermel's on the E-Chopper version as well. Same one as J-Mag, the E-Chopper ER2.
This bracket was pretty fun for the predictions.
Yeah. I guess quick note on that. Anybody that didn't fill this out yet, if you head over to Facebook, you can go to Golden Dice Facebook page, or you can go into the Destiny group. I shared that link as well. If you make a bracket in Challenge, it's basically like March Madness, where it'll calculate points for you for your correct picks, and then at the end, we're going to give away a Spark of Hope box. This is not courtesy of Golden Dice. This is courtesy of Mike Jem and the Hyperloops. They donated a box and said that the person with the most points at the end will get it. If there's like a tie at the end, they'll just be kind of like a random way in which we pick that. But if you're looking to try to win a free box,
for initiative.
Yeah, reroll for initiative. Yeah, so go over there, fill out the bracket. As you can see, this is what it looks like, and you just pick who's going to win. I think some of the interesting points is that I do think we'll see a Mike versus Andrew in the top 8.
I have that as well.
At least I'm personally hoping for Ewoks to win because I want the meme to live on forever.
No, I would rather see an Ewok nerf before a droids nerf. I just hate Ewoks though. That's just my thing. Like I've been scarred and horrified since the stream.
You'll be all right.
I want to let them die. Let the past die. Kill it if you have to. Yub nub.
What's interesting to me though too is that a lot of these, pretty much anybody 10 well, I guess 11 through 22, I think is the number, are doing play-ins. And that has a lot. Like we talked about all the Satines making it. Pretty much all of them are the Satine decks. Like if you look, number 20, Steven is Satine, then
Satine,
12 and 21 are, and then going down, 14
and
is,
11.
and then 11 and 22
Yep.
are.
And then none of the people that are already in the second bracket though are Satine.
Yeah, which is
is
certainly interesting, right? If we're talking about this being the best deck, and I think one of the biggest shocks to me about this deck was that honestly Sarcastic, not that he took it, but that he ended up losing. He played Nick Obi, who is Taxter from Artificery, in the basically win and get in game, and ended up losing that game to Nick. Obviously, as he made top cut here.
Java Sentinel. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, I mean they're looking for Delve. They can
Yeah.
pull Desperate Measure, which is a good one
Sure.
as well. So they certainly have options. But basically, I want to point that out because like all these Satine decks are going to eat all these Droid decks are going to eat each other.
Yep.
I mean that, and actually the
There's surprisingly
Ewok decks
more
will as well. Only
diversity.
one Ewok deck can get into the top.
Yeah.
Because they're all on the same side as per usual for
rip the
for
dream.
the Hyperloops.
Rip your dream.
Last year, I mentioned like all 7 of them got in.
Yeah.
All 7 of them were on the same side, like except for like Nick Wenka, I think. Pete asked, was Mill present today at all? There were 2.4 or 2.7,
I think.
something like that.
Yeah.
Some low percentage of decks, Mill decks, and 0 anywhere near the top tables. So, I mean, I think it was assumed Mill was dead. I was surprised that even 2.7 people brought it. But
I think it's like a nice surprise.
I'm sure
People
that
might be
there's probably like,
surprised about it. People probably didn't tech for it.
yeah.
Like I can see that. Like that's what I did at PAX.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably just diehard fans who enjoy playing Mill. Like, that is their style, so even if it
That's
isn't
Pete.
great. Yeah, Pete, that could be Pete.
Of course, Pete's asking about Mill.
Yeah. So I haven't seen any deck lists for anything. Things that we can just talk about. A few of these people were on stream. Like I said, Jake Anderson was the Kylo Ray that we saw on stream that was able to take down Drew from Arrowbrook. I'm mostly interested to see how far the Raylos go and the Jabba goes as well. I think Nick can take that first game. If he was able to beat Satine to get in, I'm sure if he could be honestly Sarcastic on Satine, I think he's going to be able to beat anybody on that. And then I assume that the Jabba deck has a decent matchup into Ray. I have no idea. I haven't tested Jabba in forever. It really depends how they're able to spike him down. But the other one, Tyler Fultz, I think he has some decent matchups. I think it's a pretty bulky deck. Jabba's got what, 10 health?
Yeah.
Does he have 11?
I think he's.
He might be
I
10.
think he's 10. Yeah.
But anyway, so he's bulky. So like if he can take down Luke in that first playing game, I think he has a chance versus Ewoks later. Just he has to spend his money in appropriate ways so he doesn't get rigged at.
What he even has in the deck, because like I'm thinking it's probably a fist, probably maybe a planetary. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're on plan. I mean, I don't think
So-
there's a reason not to.
The hard thing about that is like the indirect stuff, especially against Raylo. That bottom bracket there, indirect against Raylo is tough. It's a tough one.
Yeah, certainly. I think potentially saving grace, at least against like the Ewoks, they could run hover tank. That could be something in there as well. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Raylo is such like the interesting one because it's so consistent. It's like probably the most consistent deck. You could argue that the Droid's Faithful Companion is as well, but it's just interesting. I mean, he finished fifth. Is that 5th overall, right?
Yeah.
5th overall with Raylo. So that's certainly
impressive.
interesting. Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I didn't think it was. I knew it was going to show, but like 7th and 5th, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And what is interesting to me too is actually how spread out the teams are. Right? If like we were talking last year, like it was all Hyperloops. Destiny Council was sprinkled in there. Artificery was sprinkled in there. But like now we have 3 Hyperloops.
Yep.
Right? Mike, Andrew, and Adam are 4 with Nick Cuenca. So there's 4 Hyperloops in there.
There's an ABG.
Yeah, Cody's in there. I don't think I think it was just Paul and Kyle last year, and I don't think they made top cut last year. But Nick Obi is representing from Artificery. Destiny Council has John, Luke.
Knights Rhinos over too, right?
Well, Nick could count both ways.
Oh, okay.
I
I thought they had someone else. I wasn't sure.
I think Andrew Rothermel is part of Destiny Council as well. So there's 3 in there. I don't know. It is nice just seeing like parity of things. Like I think almost all of the Hyperloops started out like 3-0, so there's a real chance of them all 7 making it. But I think it is nice and refreshing from like a neutral standpoint of more teams being in, because then that creates more of like tension between.
Sure, it's like a
things
nice
like that, which is
friendly competition.
Yeah.
Where it's not so dominated. I mean, good for them for being, super talented and amazing. But
Yeah.
it's nice to see that there's new faces.
Yeah,
in the
certainly.
mix, for sure.
Certainly. Yeah. For a neutral person, it makes the viewing enjoyment, potentially a little more. But yeah, so Brian, out of all these decks, who do you have as your winner?
I feel like such a hypocrite for saying it, and I did make my bracket after a nap. I wasn't drinking. Let's make that clear. I know that's a thing we like to throw around here, but I have Mike Gem with the Ewoks making it all the way.
Well, I have similar but different person. I have Andrew, aka Reflex, aka 3-time champ, aka Adam.
I could go either way. I mean, I watched
Both
the
of them
deck
are
today, and I
phenomenal
was
players.
yeah, absolutely. And I just watched. I just think they're both pretty good, pretty great.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really. I think it would be really funny though if Andrew won back to back. He won last year as well. I think that would just. I'd love to see that play out.
I wish they weren't in the same bracket though. How hilarious!
You really
would it
want
be?
an Ewok mirror final?
I
That would
do.
be like the worst thing
because
for
that
the
would
game.
show FFG what it is. What it is.
I still remember the first experience with Ewoks was the FFG stream with Jeremy versus that guy. And it was like, this is garbage. Like, what is this? And then we played with like an actual Ewok deck. We're like, oh, this is pretty...
That's what it is with the cards, and I mean, he was that stream was something else.
Yeah.
That was something else. That deck was.
Yeah.
Good.
But yeah, so this is the top cut. There's a lot of interesting lines that I would like to see play out. I'm really interested to see how the Jabba deck plays out. I think that's the main thing I'm interested in doing. I'm excited to see and hope that we will see a Mike versus Andrew in the top 8 mirror match. And I would love to see that on stream and commentate as well. Brian and I will be commentators as well as Inception tomorrow.
Yep.
For anybody that's interested, the
Should
stream
be
will be back
hilarious.
up again.
And fun.
Yes, definitely.
And I'd prepare for the coldest takes for me and a lot of Asajj Savage, even though they're not there. You know
Yeah.
what it is.
um,
Did you see that question from Pete?
Pete, how do we feel about Destiny
Yeah,
being at number 10 spot on the best-selling CCGs? That's fine.
I think Wreck and Rule should calm down first of all, because
Wreck and Rule needs to calm down.
Wreck and Rule calm down. They were like, ho, remember that time we said? Yeah, well, ours was July 4th, so
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
you gonna do? But I think it's fine. No dead game here, boys.
Yeah. So it's fine with it. You would like to see it pushed up more. I think Keyforge drops. I know Keyforge was number 3, I think. But I think they're just kind of still selling hot while the game has been new. But there's a little reason to. I mean, it's hard because that's like microtransactions on like video games aren't a big thing. But then
Yeah.
there's like a small minority of the sharks or the whales that they would be called, and they're the people who would invest hundreds of thousands of dollars and make it seem like it's worth it to do that. But it's really such a small percentage, and it wouldn't surprise me if Keyforge the same way. Everybody buys like a deck. It doesn't really sell that much, but then there's like
What?
there's like
Yeah,
10% of
yeah.
people maybe that play the game that are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on these decks and skyrocketing the sales. And the secondary market on that is saying it's like $2,000 for like Horseman decks, and they
Yeah.
weren't even like that good.
But I think the thing is, it's like complete apples to oranges. So like when you're playing Destiny, right? You need to buy, let's say a booster box is 96 or 90, whatever, in the 90s, right? That's 36 packs, and you maybe might make a deck out of that. So for
Yeah.
like Jack, what did you pull in your Spirit of Spark of Hope for Rays and Kylos?
Oh,
Out
zero.
of like 5 boxes, 0. Yeah. So like, $96 for a booster box feels kind of bad when you can go and buy Keyforge for, I don't know, what is it, like 10, 15 bucks a deck that's complete, that's ready, it's out of the box, you can play. Like, I think comparing things like that is apples to oranges just for like ease of play's sake. Like, I don't know about the other decks, but people are saying like Keyforge is better and Keyforge is much higher, but like I don't
It's
think
just-
it means that much. Like,
It's designed to sell more. Like
Yeah.
Destiny actually has a really good distribution where you could buy 6 boxes and you pretty much have everything. But then like Keyforge, there's no end in sight. Like you
Right.
could get a good deck, but you also could potentially
there's
get
a
a better
better
one.
deck,
Like
right out there on the horizon. There's a
Um,
Horseman deck out there that's apparently better.
One interesting point that Jay Danger brings up that I also commented as well on Facebook and was pointing out to people, but our stream got around like 350, got up to 350, maybe. I mean, 316 was definitely the highest I had seen, but I'm pretty sure it got higher. I had to step away at a few points. And the Keyforge was maybe floating around 80 to 100. And that was the Revolt Tour. And that was, what's hilarious to me is that FFG put so much time and effort into Keyforge. They don't give Destiny power to the 2 content creators that they promised they would be able to stream months out. And they do their own production of Keyforge, and we have 3 times as many viewers as them. I mean, I think that's fantastic. And I would hope that something like that would be a wake-up call to FFG. And I get there was probably miscommunication. It wasn't on purpose. Matt has been doing a great job. Alex has been doing a great job. I'm very happy with OP, but like that happening this morning was very, like, if we didn't have a stream today, that would have been bad. That would have been very bad for what people want. And we haven't had streams like this in the past. And
where's the Destiny vending machine? Where is it? I want to see a Destiny vending machine.
Where's the packs?
Forget Keyforge. Like,
dude, you can put like each pack, dude,
that'd
in there.
It
Might make me buy Awakenings.
Yeah,
but that would be that would be funny.
Buy like singles in there. I'll take J2. There's a pulse cannon at J2 for 30.
Yeah,
whatever.
But yeah, that was certainly interesting. And again, like, I don't want to hype on Keyforge. Like, it is, like, I understand why it's a fun game, like you said. But like, and it's like they're pushing Keyforge competitiveness more than they're pushing Destiny's competitiveness. And for me, Keyforge is a casual game at heart. Like, how many sealed events can I do as a Keyforge player without getting like bored and frustrated at it? Like, I can't, like Destiny, I can be like, okay, I've tested, I put so much time to be competitive, and here's the best deck that I'm going to put forward at this tournament. Where Keyforge is like, all right, here's $25. Thank you for my deck. Let's hope it's a good one. Right. And like,
no
competitiveness can only go so far. And and I mean, I'm sure there's still teams, there's still content creators, because then they're opening up packs and they should know combos from the get go. And there's certainly skill that goes into it. There's no doubt about that. But it's like, as a competitive player, so much of my enjoyment of competing and like will to compete is my ability to make my own deck, even if it's like, net decked or whatever. I'm still creating a deck tailored to what I want to run at that tournament. So
I just think it goes so much deeper than Keyforge, and like for some people that's fine, where it's like, if you don't like making decks, then obviously Keyforge is the game for you. But so Jay Danger actually says he thinks Destiny was an accidental success for FFG. I don't know. You put out a game with an IP like Star Wars, and I think it's bound to sell well. Same thing with like the Marvel game that's coming up. It caught my eye, and if I wasn't so dirt poor, I might buy in.
Yeah.
But
the LCG will be LCG's like, you buy a pack, it's in it 100%. Like,
I'm in the red. Don't get me hyped on it. I don't.
By the time that comes out, you'll be fine.
Oh God, I hope so. Because
you should be fine.
I want
Hopefully, you have a job.
I want.
Yeah, but it's certainly interesting if like Jay Danger brings up a good point of like, Destiny was created, sold a bunch of stuff short, and then they had to reprint stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. We should be talking Gen Con, but now we're getting on a rant about FFG and Keyforge and things.
It's bound to happen.
But he also says, shout out to the Loops and the cats over at Jackalman for the stream. Yeah, Ashton seriously did such a good job of setting this stuff up. The graphics look amazing. Again, we're hopping in tomorrow, but Ashton did a lot of the backbone. So it's like, I'm stepping into stuff that's already programmed. So that was legitimately him,
If anyone's put off by this right now, we won't use Facecam if you don't want us to.
No, we won't. There's too much going on already.
No, you want to see the players, but
in between games we might do that just to fill in the brackets, and so people can see that.
No one wants to see this.
Yeah, you don't want to see my dog toy or case of Yangling in the background.
Right there, East Coast baby.
Jay Strick says, what about the low attendance compared to last year? I think that is a little concerning, but I think that's what you get when you do Gen Con Nova Worlds.
There's also other things to look into. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
I think it's less about that, like, because I think if Gen Con was separated from more things, it would do well, because there's like, oh, let me spend this money to go to this tournament because there's not another one in 3 months. Whereas now it's like, one, I maybe just don't spend the money because I'm going into Worlds in 2 months, and that's, that costs money. Or two, I'm going to Gen Con anyways, but now that I can play in Worlds in 2 months, I'm not going to play Destiny. I'm just going to play. I have my World seat, right? Because it's open invite this year. I'm not going to play. I'm going to enjoy the con, which is fine. I'm not overly a con person. I'd probably still
I'll play or
compete.
watch.
But it's like with it so stacked. Like I hope next year there's a shakeup with either more of these grands. I mean, Gen Con will always be. I don't ever see Nationals get moved from that for a good reason. But it's like if you took Nova and moved that somewhere else,
We'll just take Nova and push it somewhere else.
yeah.
Evo, yeah, Evo is a big one too.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
I might go to Evo instead. I probably have a better chance.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think there's a few factors. Not overall discouraging though.
Mhm.
I'm more encouraged of the viewers that we had for Destiny than I am discouraged in the fact that attendance is probably like 100 lower than last year.
Yeah, and like we said, that's a lot of. There's a lot of different reasons. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
a great
so-
one, right? Gen Con,
Yep,
Nova,
DJ Big
and
Russ,
Worlds in the same
like-
time,
Yeah.
and then you've got Primes after. Like it just, and I like that. I like that it just keeps going. Because especially after what feels like a long drought this summer.
Yeah, we haven't played something since
No, we haven't played anything
Regionals?
since. Yeah, GQ. Well, we did the GQ Origins.
that was but that was us completely
uh,
going out of our way.
Yeah, that's something we wouldn't have done otherwise. But yeah, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to Nova. I mean, for example, like I would much rather put all of my resources into Worlds and make it to Worlds than go to like Nova or Gen Con.
Yeah.
And that's just purely because I think Worlds is a cooler experience from what I've been told. You know?
Yeah, especially this year. This year is probably like going to be one
Maybe's
of the best
first Worlds.
last year. Well, it's just like the open invite makes Worlds so much fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this year, if you can get to Worlds, like there's still tickets available. So if you haven't gotten any,
Mhm.
go this year.
Even Flockton's going.
I know.
Flockton's probably gonna bring some kind of
Yeah.
Talzin, Iden.
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I imagine this will still be the only thing that I think will still be on the same meta. Just maybe
Uh-huh.
there might be like a Force Friday release, which could be the only thing
You think?
potentially.
When was that? Because that was that.
That was 2
October?
years. No, it was like September. People at Nova were getting them.
Oh, really?
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, dope.
So it was like early September. So that would be plenty of time for Worlds. And it was in like Force Fridays only for when a movie comes out. So we are going to have
Yeah,
one this year.
so-
They already announced that they're having them. FFG hasn't announced what product it will be, but I think Destiny is a good bet this year. They're never going to do Legion because it goes to Target and stuff like that. And Legion's never going to be in Target. X-Wing could,
X-Wing.
and it has.
Yeah.
But I think X-Wing with the 2.0 and like I just don't see them coming out with anything extra right now. So
Yeah.
my bet would be on Destiny.
Alan.
It's the most depressing. You're getting the most depressing view like of my basement. Like if you look to this side by Brian, you would see like the table that we stream on. If you look to my side,
You see all the Destiny stuff
Yeah.
and the cool games in the fridge where we keep all the good
Water.
stuff. Yeah, the water.
but yeah, over here is like on my board. I have a meaning to hang things up, but if you can't tell because of the light, but like straight behind me is like a closet, so I couldn't really hang anything up there if I wanted. But no need to come at me, Alan.
I mean, it looks great if you're from where I'm sitting. I think it looks great, Jack. Don't worry about a thing.
Yeah. Um,
And he's on YouTube. He's literally only Alan.
Alan's the only
Stop
YouTuber.
Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Gen Con went really well. I think there was a good diversity. I think the frustration of droids was a little bit overplayed. I think we saw them. They made 30% of Top Cut, and they are 30% of the field. So I think
Yep.
that makes sense. It's in line. It's a good deck. There's no doubt about that. They can make 6 resources a turn. But are they the be all end all? I'm not sure. I think like I would have probably brought droids if I'm going. I'm not going to argue that they're not the best deck, but like if we're talking about like nerf level of things, I think it's a little different, right? Droids. The difference between like Snoke and that is that Snoke could ramp into 6 resources, play 0 cost mitigation, and then still play their 5-drop fist or whatever. Whereas heroes, they get the 6 and they have to spend some of that on mitigation because they don't have any good free removal, and then they can play their big stuff.
Because
Still really
FFG
good.
hates hero. You know?
Well, I mean, if they give them stuff that makes them lots of money so they can actually afford removal, that's fine. Like that's why I'm actually like okay with where they're at because I don't know.
I'm sorry. Alan
How
keeps making me
depressed.
laugh on the other screen over there.
Alan asked how depressed we are. We're not there. I wish I was there. I definitely wish I was there.
I would too. I would really just enjoy walking around the con even if I wasn't playing. You know,
Yeah.
I like those kinds of things.
I'm a competitor too, so it's like this is prime competition. Like this, if you can show up and break into the top cut.
This feels a little too big for me without any kind of practice. So I don't know. I would have to really buckle down and
Yeah.
figure something out. But
So I mean, like this, like to me, like this is the fact the loop showed up with all these Ewoks and put 3 into the top cut is huge. Destiny Council did a good job of doing droids offshoot of Han, and then also the 5 dice with Chopper. Like, that wasn't really talked about. It was always like Satine the best. So for them to do stuff like that, for Taxter to get in the top cut was something that is a little different, and the few relays there. So to me, is like, I don't know. I'm much more impressed to see people do well in an undefined meta than something that's defined.
I can only imagine what Nova's going to be, what Worlds is going to be, when people have a time to sit down and kind of refine these decks and, figure out what the... I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I think Worlds is going to be really, really wacky this year.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah. So I guess just last thoughts is that stream is tomorrow at 9 Eastern.
9?
Yeah, it's at 9.
Oh, we pushed it back. I thought it was 10.
Pushed it up.
Pushed it up. Yeah, you know.
Well, today was at 10. I don't know why tomorrow's at 9. I don't know.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so tomorrow's at 9. Again, Hyperloops will be streaming. We'll be doing commentary along with Inception as well. So we'll have that ready and available for you guys there. To go and to Facebook, go to Golden Dice, or you can even go into the Destiny group.
Fill out your August Madness.
Yeah, fill out your Gen Con Madness. Yeah, August Madness bracket.
Quick accelerated August Madness. You don't have
And
to wait
again,
either.
the winner will get a Spark of Hope box, donated courtesy of Mike Gem from the Hyperloops. 3 surly good designs. Again, if you want those big tokens, you can head over to them. Use Loops as a discount code on checkout, and shipping is free over $35.
So buy 2.
Buy 2, or some resource tokens or something. Or if you're playing Ewoks, buy more shields. But yeah, I think that's it. So again, we're Golden Dice. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We got weekly streams. We're doing a little different this week because of Gen Con and committing a whole day tomorrow to doing commentary. We weren't able to do like a rest of it, but yeah, I think that's that. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Gen Con day 2. 9 a.m. Eastern is when it kicks off. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we were able to lay out a little bit what Gen Con is going to look like tomorrow. Some of the predictions. I got Andrew. Brian has Mike.
Gem.
We're interested to see what you guys get up to. But yeah, we will see you guys bright and early. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations to everybody that made day 2 at Gen Con. Shout out to our boys Eldis, Scott, and John Williams. He's not a part of our team, but he's one of our
He might as well be.
local friends.
Yeah,
if he played more, he probably would be. But he's
a fun guy.
He'll like go into the darkness and then come back out for an event.
Come back and smack you.
Yeah.
Like he's.
Well, he started out 3-1 with droids, having never had to that morning be explained what droids do. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you.
Peace.